So I don't play Genshin. I played it a long time ago, back when it first came out, but I haven't for a while. That said, I've been seeing around on Twitter a lot this particular character design. I believe, I don't know if her banner just dropped or is about to drop, but I believe her name is Emilie. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I've been seeing a lot of interesting discourse about her character design. Whether people are satisfied with it or wish it was different. I've seen some other designs thrown around being like, I kind of wish it looked more like this or more like this. And Genshin has kind of been a hot topic for character designs as of recent, for maybe not the greatest of reasons. But I thought it'd be fun to try my hand at, you know, just my own interpretation of this particular character design. There's a trend in art that I hate, at least art on YouTube, where people will be like, I fixed this design, or fixing XYZ. I'm not fixing anything. It's just my take on this character design. You can like it, you can hate it, you can prefer the original, you can prefer mine. It's just playing around, having fun. That said, part of the things that I find interesting about the original character design is it plays into some really dark palettes. And that's such an interesting choice. I don't know. I know something Genshin that always has it, and seems to be something that they're trying to stick to pretty heavily, is keeping color palettes directly tied to their element. Which makes sense given just how intrinsic the elemental system is to the entire combat of the game. So having the characters represent the elements very directly makes sense. So I really wanted to make sure I kept the green in her character design, because a lot of the designs that I was seeing kind of played more into the purples or into some other color palettes that didn't really give that dendro feeling. Yeah, because I think when designing a Genshin character, representing the element is important, as that's a direct design choice that they've made for every character. Things like motifs for the region and all that also being important. From my understanding, Fontaine has that kind of very, like, fantasy Victorian-esque look to it. I don't really know, but that's kind of the realm that I was playing with in my head for this, because that's kind of what I saw on the page. The interesting thing, having not being someone who plays Genshin, is I'm kind of just looking at the raw design before me. I don't know much on her personality or, you know, background in the world, so I'm kind of just taking what I'm given and running with that. One of the motifs in her design being this kind of like bellflower. I'm sure it has a name, but I don't know flowers. And you see it like on the hat, and you kind of see the shape repeated a little bit in some of those like outfit pieces, but I really wanted to go heavy in on that and have that kind of be her iconic motif throughout the entire design. I really wanted to play with ruffles. I kind of hiked up the skirt into kind of a tied up ruffle just to kind of give her like feeling of mobility. I also kind of made the heels a little bit flatter for that same reason. Maybe not quite tomboy, but approaching that was kind of my thought. I don't know. But, yeah. I just really wanted to kind of lighten up the palette, because a lot of the original color palette really played into dark, kind of charcoaly brown, black colors, which was a choice that I don't really understand. I think if I were to critique the original design on anything, it'd probably be that. Because I feel like when you're playing with a character design that's very delicate and it has a lot of like that frilly, fluffy kind of feeling that it has going for it, especially since they went for kind of that longer dress, going with that dark palette but then not fully committing to it, having that evergreen green color, just, I don't know, it doesn't read very well. I, as someone who's not in the Genshin space, don't really know what they were going for as far as like her personality. Because usually when you go with darker colors, it's either like a sexier character or a edgier character. but she doesn't really give that vibe to me as far as the actual design of her outfit. She's got the high slit, but that's kind of it. I don't know. So I decided to pull back and go more for the cute and played with some of the lighter colors to kind of emphasize that a little bit more. Maybe like I said, I don't know the character, so maybe she is supposed to be the sexy, badass, I don't know. But this is the direction I decided to take it, knowing nothing. So I played with kind of lighter greens and whites and a little bit of a pop of a gold, and I carried that into some of the little bell-shaped flowers. I gave her a little, brown pack that also carries that motif through it because I thought it'd be cute. Genshin likes to have lots of accessories. Yeah, so I kind of played around with that and putting in all those kind of accessories and playing into the motif and the color palette as my intention, my goal with this character design, more or less. You saw in the sketching process, I tried really hard to make a little side ponytail work, and I just couldn't get that to work. So I kind of kept the hair pretty similar to the original in that kind of short bob look. I don't really know what you would call the hairstyle. It's short and kind of tight to the head. And I decided to just keep it pure blonde. The original kind of plays with some reds, which, again, I don't quite understand the color palette choices that they make in the original, because they have this kind of pop of red in her eyes and in her hair that doesn't really repeat anywhere else. And when you include red and green, they're direct complement colors, so they're going to be intense and usually read Christmas. And it's not something I'm ever a huge fan of. It's really hard to make red and green work like that. And I just decided to forego the red. I didn't want to deal with that. I'm not a fan. I didn't think it looked particularly great in their application of it. They also have a really bright blue-purple that they pull in. So I thought, blue eyes, it's a good pop of color. You don't need that in the rest of the design. I use blue in most of my shadows, so it's not entirely out of place. But it was a little bit more cohesive to the rest of the palette, I guess, is what I'm going for. And I used blue for most of the shadows, just to kind of have that tie in a little bit more. I ended up finishing rendering the piece, and when I kind of looked at it, I'm like, Genshin just is always likes to play with textures in the pattern designs itself, particularly because the models themselves rely really heavily on the textures. So I decided to go back in and add a little bit more detailing and patterning on the dress, just to kind of give that little bit extra embellishment, if you will. But yeah, I think ultimately I'm pretty happy with how this character design turns out. I think maybe the top of the blouse, I would have put maybe some ruffles to the side if I were to go back and do a little bit more with it. But I think she looks pretty cute. I don't know if, like I said, not knowing the personality of what Emilie is like, it's hard to know if it fits her. But as far as my version of Emilie, I guess, I think she's kind of cute and preppy and happy, and that's what I was going for. But yeah, we'll see. You can tell me what you guys think. Do you guys like my take of it? Do you think the original is you vibe with the original more? You like the original design better? Maybe a combination of both, the things that we like and don't like from either. I had a lot of fun with this either way. Let me know if this is something that you guys enjoyed and would like to see more of. It's just kind of my own reinterpretation of other characters, because I enjoy doing this. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.